Preston, and we're going to be making smoothies.
Mango smoothies.
Okay. So King Louis starts the revolution by thinking that he should tax the nobles because the peasants can't generate enough money for the economy because of the debt that was left by Louis XIV from Versailles. So that pretty much puts him in a sticky situation. Yes. Pretty good. Okay. And the nobles became angered, and a handful of them joined the revolution, and a few joined the National Assembly, which kicked off the revolution when people became angered and got mad at the king. This led to the storming of the Bastille. The storming of the Bastille happened in Paris on July 14th, 1789. The Bastille only contained 7 prisoners at the point of the storming, but the fall was the turning point of the revolution. The people stormed the Bastille in fear that the king would smash the revolt with all 30,000 guns, but the people took all 30,000.
The Tennis Court Oath was a pledge signed by 576 out of 577 members from the 30th state on June 20th, 1789, and these mangoes would represent those 115. There are 5 mangoes in there. On June 17th, 1789, people called themselves the National Assembly. On June 20th, 1789, the 30th state found that the doors were locked to their chamber and guarded by soldiers, because the 30th state wanted more say on what was going on because they were the bigger group. The significance of this was because the first time the 30th state stood up against the king's rules. The oath inspired a variety of revolution activity.
Okay, so later on, the Declarations of the Rights of Man was adopted about August 20th, 1789 by the Legislative Assembly. It became the preamble to the Constitution of 1791, but the Declarations of Rights of Man doesn't talk about the status of slaves or women. And the concepts of Age of Enlightenment, individualism, and the social contract were included in the Declarations of the Rights of Man.
The war with Austria and Prussia. The Girondin leader, Bissot, wanted Louis back in power. He felt threatened because the Legislative Assembly declared war against Austria and Prussia on April 20th, 1792. Austria and Prussia already anticipated this reaction by them and had their troops massed along the French border. The army was unprepared and lost. Louis was arrested for treason because the people thought that he told Austria that the French army was going to attack. Louis was moved to Paris, then was imprisoned in his own palace. The milk represents the war.
After Louis was moved to Paris, the Jacobins had control of France, and they formed France into a republic. During the radical movement that the Jacobins controlled, 2 key persons in the spread of their ideas were Marat and Danton. Marat was the writer and Danton was the speaker. Marat and his ideas were spread through the writing and editing of his pamphlets, and Danton spoke in the streets of Paris. After the riots ensued and chaos happened, on August 10th, 1792, the Jacobins arrest King Louis. His execution was on January 21st, 1793. Afterwards, Robespierre, a member of the National Convention and Committee of Public Safety, was the most powerful man in France. Since Robespierre was the most powerful man, he had complete control, and the reign of terror ensued. 40,000 people died, along with Marie Antoinette and Robespierre himself. So these represent the deaths of the people and the leaders of France at that time. After Robespierre, 5 men took over France and formed the Directory. 2.5 men per ice cube is added to the revolution.
Now we're talking about Napoleon takes control. Napoleon, one of the oligarchy, took control of the French army and led them into many victories. But he loses one of these battles and loses his life during the reign of being a dictator. This represents Napoleon and his victories, and also his death.
The blending of the smoothie represents that of how much the chaos was in the French Revolution. It represents how the poor stayed poor, the rich got richer, and how taxes increased. Yeah. So this represents the blending.